Okay, hello everybody. I want to do a little video sort of tutorial because I've been wanting to do like a presentation about this thing so people know some things about how to use it. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing this. It's funny, but look what I can do. Okay. I can go right over here. But it's really hard to find a time. I mean, it's hard enough to coordinate a house meeting. So, finding a time when everyone's available for me to teach them this stuff. Excuse me. So, I just thought I'd make a video. Sorry, my monitor's over there. If you can't tell, that's why I'm looking over there. So, first things I want to talk about are just certain like do nots, stuff that is really easy to do accidentally, but I want you to avoid, please, because it messes it up. One thing, if you ever accidentally drag a box onto another box like that, it's not good. It really messes with the whole algorithm because it starts to think it's looking for this box. No, this box just gets deleted. So when it's looking for this information, it can't find it because it's been overridden by that box. Anyway, you don't need the details of why it's bad. It's a real pain to fix. I mean, it's fixable, but it just takes a second. So if you ever accidentally do that, you'll notice, because you notice that square turned white for a second. So just keep an eye out for that. If you do that, just Control Z. You can always Control Z. It also, so that's one of the first do nots. I don't know if doing it on your phone what the undo button is, or how to undo. I'm sure there's a way though. But I don't know if that's a thing that really happens on the phone. And you might think that, so if I move this here, you might think you can just restore it by doing this, because that looks like it's back to normal, but it's totally not. And that's why this little thing pops up. That means something's wrong. I initially formatted that because if you accidentally put, like, just Command Z, by the way, I just undid that. If you accidentally put text in a box, it gets really confused, so I put that message there to remind you to not do that. But it actually just pops up anytime there's an error of any kind. I learned, so anyway. What else? I talked about this before, but I just want to, it hasn't been happening as much, so I appreciate that. But I want to have it like as an official tutorial in case you ever forget what to do. And having it here where I'm showing you, hopefully it will be helpful. If you ever, so say this is done. You're done with this, you can delete it all. You just highlight everything, press delete. Don't do anything special. Don't try to go in here, delete rows, delete, none of that. That'll mess it up also. Just highlight everything, press delete. Just do that. And then if I want to move this up, I can't just drag it, for one. As I showed you before, dragging boxes onto other boxes will confuse everything. So what you do is you copy it, you highlight everything. See how I highlighted everything? Command or Control C. Come up here. Command Shift. That's important. Command Shift V. And if you don't want to remember that command, just right click, paste special values only. Formula only will also work, but you don't really need to know that. That'll just overcomplicate things. So values only, Control Shift V. And what that does is it just, here I'll show you, in case you want to know what's actually happening. If I'm like somewhere blank, okay, and for the record, all of this like messing around that I'm doing here, please don't do this. It just pastes the data, the raw data, if that makes sense, and then sorry, I lost my train of thought. You know, paste the raw data and then formats to the whatever you're pasting it on. In this case, it's all just white, so it just formats white. So that way you don't like mess up with the colors, and the thing is, it's not okay, is it gonna undo? It's very slow. Well, it had better undo because I deleted this. God damn it. Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. I don't know why that wasn't working. So yeah. Anytime you need to move something around, never drag it, always copy and then paste special. Yeah, and then you shouldn't have any issues. Yeah. Yeah, those are the main things that were creating problems, I think. Also, here, I'll show you because it's happening over here. If you go to like, request all the money and stuff, like you're done with the haul and it's time to request the money, check the total I'm pointing at the screen, but you can't see my fingers. Check the totals for your haul. In this case, my Costco haul that I just did is total number 2. Right here, it's the second one. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I can make these display, the name and date of the haul. Yeah, I might do that, but that's for later. Anyway, point is, see these guys? See how pissed they are? They're really afraid and upset. These guys, because the total displayed here, oh god, sorry, I'm using a controller because I don't have a mouse. Hopefully this doesn't make it too confusing for you guys, all this chaos. I'm doing my best here. Zoom back out. Thank you. Okay, because this total, which simply adds up all of the personal totals for that haul, is different from this, which adds up all the money. So that means something's wrong. That means something went wrong in the calculations. Something might be broken, which is what happens when you move the boxes around. So if they're doing that, come get me before you request the money, because the totals are wrong. Usually that'd probably be obvious because one of these might be at like 1,000 or something like that. But yeah, just look at these little freaks before you request, and then if everything's okay, then they're happy, like these guys. Okay, you got it. Okay. Sorry, that was just a bit. Don't worry. But the reason they're doing that now actually is because there's the goldfish. Nobody's claimed the goldfish yet, so that price is just unaccounted for, as well as the coffee. So if there's anything that's unaccounted for that nobody's opting into, which is usually the case before everyone's filled it out, right? Then they'll be doing that. So, in this case, that's not something to be concerned about. That's, yeah, that's normal, because that's just how it works. So you say, oh no, what the heck? They're upset. Why is that? Why are they upset? And you come over here and you see these guys shrugging. They're like, I don't know who's gonna pay for that. Then you're like, oh, okay, it's fine. There's just stuff that people haven't paid for yet. And they show up in blue. I think that's obvious. I don't think I need to explain the color coding. The blue guys are like, yeah, and same thing over here. Obviously they're red when they're upset. Okay. That's pretty much all the functional stuff, I think. Oh, yes. Okay. This is not super important. Like, it's not going to be detrimental if you don't do this. But this little reminder here, I keep pointing with my finger even though that means nothing to you guys. This reminder here under the yummy foods. So I need a bigger cursor so you guys can see where I'm pointing. This is the format that you're supposed to follow. So name, comma, date of haul. There's not an official place to put like Costco or grocery outlet or the place that you got it from. So I just put it in parentheses next to my name. The reason for that formatting is because, and this is why it's not that important, because like it's it's just a display thing. So over here, then it reads what you put in that box, and it uses this format and this comma to sort of parse out which one is the date and which one is the name, which it puts over here. I think it's just kind of helpful to be able to keep track of which haul is which. And this little fun counter here, it tells you how old the haul is. That's 6-day-old haul. Over here, Ezra's haul, that's 16 days old. And you'll see it can't parse that out if you don't follow the format, which is fine. It doesn't matter that much. But if you want to follow the format to make it look nice, that's how you do it. Ezra, parentheses, HMart, 1122. I love that Cleo is in quotes here. I don't know who did that. It makes me so happy. Cleo. Okay. And similar, I think you all know also that the new haul with the dash here is important. Well, actually, yeah, the dash is just part of that formatting that it parses out, right? So, yeah, I had another point to make about that, which is, I don't remember. Also, fun fact, you can spell haul like this or like this, and it will still recognize it as a new haul. So that's a win, I think. I should close this out because this is just making clutter. Yes. Should have done that at the beginning. Okay, yeah. Also, just to give you an idea of why it's a pain to mess with the formatting when you like paste stuff wrong, it's not just that these colors here in this little line will get messed up, you'll have to redo that. In here are all of these conditional formatting rules which basically help this to display correctly. It makes these colors come all the way across here. It's because there's a separate rule in this list for each of these different colors. You'll see how that look at this spot right here, it changes with every row because I had to put a separate rule, which is just me being insane. I mean, me being silly, and doing way too much. But anyway, when you paste stuff wrong, when you move stuff around wrong, these rules all change, and you'll end up with a green. This box being green, it just looks ugly. And I have to go through each individual one and change this text, which I found a good system to do it. But okay, I need to focus more because I don't want to confuse y'all or waste your time. But I just wanted to give you an idea of why it's important to paste correctly. It's really just for visual reasons mostly, or sometimes it's not. Sometimes it changes the function, like I said before. But I also think it's important to have it, nice and tidy. It makes it easier to look at and use, I think anyway. If you are ever really tight on space, say both of these are full and you only need a couple more rows, right, to make your hall work, you don't have to have these spaces here. It's good because then you get this display of the totals, right, and you can see your personal total as you go, which is maybe not that useful, and it just gives it a nice space. I think, that's the way that it's supposed to look, right? That's the way it's supposed to go. But if you need to, oh, Kaboo. If you need to, you can do this and just have them tight. Go straight from the last cell here right into the new hall cell, and this will look ugly, unfortunately. Maybe I can change it so it doesn't do that. But as is, this will look like this. These will all be formatted strangely, but it will still function. Everything will still work right. So if you're tight on space, you can do that. And you can also do it here too. Just cram it in there. But again, if you have enough space, please do it this way. Skip a line, which honestly I don't know if I've told anybody that you're supposed to skip a line. Skip a line, put the title, skip another line, put this stuff. And that's how it formats correctly and looks nice. And okay, now I want to get to kind of the fun stuff. There's some fun stuff you can do on here. For example, these. Look at this. Sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. So, ignore this. But this is for Cleo, this is for Kels, this is for Ezra, this is for me, this is for Nisa, this is for Peyton, and this is now for Odom. Maybe I should do it like this. Yeah, let's do KL, KZ, Cleo and Kels. Is that differentiated enough? Anyway, these numbers represent different fonts, which I designed. They're ASCII fonts. They're made out of other characters. Fonts made out of fonts, if you will. These are all of them. But you don't need to come down here and look at that. That's just too confusing. But if I wanted a different font for my display of my personal totals, I could put a different number here under my name. And there. Now it's displaying with this font. 4452, 4428. 9. What is 9? It's kind of a little future-y void. This is like void font. It's a little reference to somebody I know who designed a font one time. 0 is a font as well. Yeah, it's kind of similar to 9. Anyway, I had this here because I changed them all to 5 for Halloween because I thought this one was kind of spooky and legible. This is the big block font is good too. That's a 6, I guess. But this is how I had it before, which I'll put it back here this way for now. All different fonts, so many fonts. I'm personally a fan of this one, which is number 8. It's hard to read, but once you get to know it, it works. 4452, 1428. Okay, to be clear, also, just so you know, from this point on, I'm not talking about anything important, so if you don't want to keep watching, maybe I'll edit this and, like, put little sections, but that sounds like a lot of work, so maybe I won't. I feel like my face was never covering up anything important. If you watch this and you're like, Telman, this is so boring and I can't follow it, maybe I'll try making another one that's more exciting and more succinct. Okay, the last fun thing, which most of you guys know about, but Odom, this one's for you, which also Odom, pick some colors out. Here, I'll tell you what. Unless you're tech savvy, you use computers. Let me teach you. This one's for Odom. This is for anybody who wants to know how to do their conditional formatting. By conditional formatting, I mean formatting a cell based on the contents of the cell, and that's how you get all these when it's for 1 it's this color, when it's 2 it's this color, all that. But you can personalize it here, and I'll do it for Odom right now. First, you select your whole row, right click on it, and then view more cell actions, conditional formatting. And what that will do is take you to this list of rules. These are all of my rules that I have already set, so you can ignore all of those. And you go down here to this plus sign, add another rule. And now this is where I can move my face out of the way. Crikey, okay. And format cells if, and here's the way you can do it. You can do, if cell is empty, maybe you want it to be this green, which that's what it is by default, so we'll leave that. We'll say if cell, format cells if, there's a couple ways to do it. You can either do text is exactly 1. And if the text is exactly 1, then it will have whatever colors you choose here. This might be pretty straightforward. Maybe I'm over explaining this, but I don't know. Computers are confusing, so I'm just gonna over explain it anyway. So see, that one is a 1 because Odom needs toilet paper, so it's yellow and blue, which is pretty ugly. I just picked it randomly, but yeah. And then basically when you're done with that, it takes a second to update. See, I'm changing it faster than it can update. But yeah, I think you guys get that. I'm gonna leave this rule for now. You're a little orange. No, I kind of like the bright pink. I mean, I don't like it, but it's pretty awesome. You can also make it bold, but I don't know if that even changes that one. Anyway, then you press done, then you add another rule. While you still, and here's the thing, you have to have this row selected when you press add another rule. Or, alternatively, it shows up here, I5 colon I77. The colon just means 2. It's a range, I5 to I77. I think that makes sense. So you could also just make a new rule and then manually input that. Yeah. Then, format cells if is equal to, and that's another way to do it, is equal to 0. But here's the thing, if you put is equal to 0, I'm pretty sure it also interprets empty cells as being equal to 0, I think. I don't know. You figure it out. It seems like it's not doing that. Okay, so it's only going to format cells that actually have the number 0 typed into them. Okay. Yeah. So that's how to do that. Something fun I did on Ezra's is I did a range, which basically you just go colors, instead of, in these tabs up here, instead of single color, you just select color scale. And now anywhere from 0 to 1, it changes based on the range. So I can type 0.25 in here and it'll be like a little, little blue, a little bit almost pink. I think that makes sense. Yeah. And then it's purple. Yeah. And you can select the midpoint. Yeah, just make sure when you're doing this, again, that it's only applying to the range of your column, because otherwise it'll apply to the whole sheet and that will get messy. So, yeah. I don't know why I did that on Ezra's only. I think that was when I was just like learning how to do that, so I was excited to do that to Ezra. So, yeah. Odom, set up your conditional formatting if you want. Or, pick out your colors. You can also pick out the base color just by going up here and changing that. And change the color of your name up here. Also, just saying, y'all are welcome to change the font of your thing. I set it all to this, like, pixely font. But for mine, I did this, and I made an upside down crucifix for the 1. That's fun. Okay, I'm talking too much. So, yeah. And then the last thing, this one is also especially for Odom because, I think I was about to say this before, but whatever. Because everyone else already has one. But come over here, write your name next to a sword. Spencer doesn't get this sword anymore. Sorry, Spencer. Write your name in one of these boxes, and that sword belongs to you now. And if you ever buy groceries, I don't know, Odom, if you ever plan on buying groceries for everybody, but if you ever do, and then the hall belongs to you, you can see that's my sword. That's Ezra's sword. So you come over here. And bam, this is Ezra's hall. That's Ezra's sword. Because they claimed it. And that's cool. Yeah, this is Cleo's sword. Cleo got the most epic one, honestly. I wanted that one. But Cleo got it, and that's okay. It was supposed to be like this secret thing where, like, I'm just gonna spoil it because I just told you anyway. This, very faintly, says follow the green line. Follow the green line. Oh, I'm covering it up. LOL. Follow the green line. And then the idea was you'd be like, what green line? Green line. And then this makes a green line, well, it won't be a green line anymore because Odin is gonna change it, maybe. Is anybody still watching? Is anybody still watching? Anyway, then you say, this is a green line. I'm gonna scroll all the way down. Ooh, the green line keeps going. And then it connects to this green line. Yeah. And then you say, whoa, I get to choose a sword? That's so cool. Talmud is so cool and smart at spreadsheets. That's what you'd say to yourself. Oh, this was, yeah. And if you ever want to make your own sword, okay, this is the part of the tutorial that teaches you how to make your own sword. So if you don't care about that, you can stop watching now. You come down here. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. And simply add it. Okay, see how these are off of this column? So these are they're justified to the right. So they're actually, the text exists in this column. AL, the column AL, you see. Fuck, I'm covering it all up again. They exist in these green squares, basically. But they're justified to the right, so they stick out all the way to the left. Just so you can see them all. And you'll see, like, this one is not in that column, so this one is actually not on the list. So you come up here. It's not on the list. I mean, this one is, but anyway. But if I were to move it over by copying and pasting, of course, I need to justify it right so that you can actually see it. Then, oh well, it's not going to display very well because the count isn't right. Let's see how that looks. Oh my god. Okay. Come up here again. Oh, it displayed fine. But anyway, you can see there that just automatically adds it to the list. So any ASCII art that you put in those green columns will be automatically added to this list, and you can just add your name to it. I'm pretty sure I did this in such a way where you can select two swords and it'll just randomize between them, which is funny because I've never utilized that. I don't have a hole. Let's just see if this works. Did I? Let's find out. Well, it's that one for now. But will it randomize? I don't know. Unimportant. I'll think about that later. But yeah, you just it's ready to use. All you have to do is put it in that green box and it's ready to go. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I'm glad I did that, even though probably nobody's gonna use that. But yeah, again, as long as you don't move stuff around down here, please. Don't like drag a box onto another box. It's really gonna mess stuff up, especially down here. Yeah, just be careful. This is the sword I was working on. But another thing, when you're designing swords, they have to be exactly 5 rows with 107 characters in each row. That's important, because otherwise things get really fucked up. But yeah, 5 rows with 107 characters in each row, which you'll be able to see because if you're using Source Code Pro, which is a good font, it's a mono-spaced font. So as long as you don't have any freaky characters, like this one, oh right, because it's Courier Prime, because Courier Prime used to support mono-spaced, but they stopped doing that. They butchered Courier Prime for some dumb reason. Anyway, so I have to change that to one of the other. If you're using a Courier font, if you're using, that's not Courier Prime, if you're using Courier New or Courier Regular, they'll be mono-spaced. Which, let me show you something. Courier, look how smoothly the lines connect. And there's actually 2 different types of overscores. Overscores being, of course, the opposite of underscores. I think maybe I made up the word overscore, actually. Anyway, this is too many details. Basically, using Source Code Pro, it's all going to be mono-spaced. So, as long as you make each one 107 rows and use this, these lines to start and end each row, which is just the line on your keyboard. I think it is. It might be, it might not be. Yeah, actually, it's a different kind of line. It's a line that you have to copy and paste. It does have to start and end with a character. I'll show you. This doesn't end with a character, and I'll show you why that's fucked up. I mean, already you can see, because there's just spaces over here, it just shoots it all the way over to the right, and it does this. I don't need to go. So, yeah, you have to end it with a character of some kind, so that it treats it like a line. Why is it like that? Why? Why are you like that? Oh, good lord. I don't know what's going on, but I'm just gonna... I mean, technically that works. No, but it's supposed to be on that side. God, I'm so bad at this. No, it's not. Oh my god, I'm just Comanche. Yes, thank you. I don't know what just happened. Okay, if you want pro tips on how to do this, I can give you a lesson, but you don't need that now. But anybody can make their own sword. Also, if you find emoticons that you like these kinds of emoticons, and you want them to join the party, literally just pop them in these green boxes. Pop it right there. And then they'll be part of the randomized pool that it draws from to have these little guys here. Doing fun things all day long. Hanging out with squids. Yeah, that's what all the green boxes are for down here. If there's an empty green box, you can add something to it. If you have a weed-themed emoticon, pop it in this stoned column. If you have a spooky emoticon, pop it in this Halloween column down here. Yeah, these are all the spooky guys. These guys come out during October. If you have an emoticon that shows strong leadership characteristics. Put it in this one. Put it in this. And these guys, there's only 3 of them right now. This guy, and this cute, beautiful butterfly. And by the way, these don't have to be monospaced. It doesn't matter. Put anything in there. If you want to add ASCII art, like to the sword situation, please make sure that is monospaced text. That is to say, you know, most of these characters, like this is not monospaced characters. All these weird characters, they're not monospaced. And that's going to be fucked up if you put them in the ASCII art. But for these just single row emoticons, it's great. It's good fun. Okay. Yeah, you see these guys show up. Oh, I bad at scrolling. These guys show up over here at the headers of the new hall. See, there's a little butterfly there. It's another butterfly. It's random each time, so. Excuse me. But yeah, if you have fun emoticons you want to add to the party, please add them to the party. Yeah. Oops. Okay. That's about it, I think. You can also make your own font. Like I did here. Just replace one of the ones that are here. If you replace one of the ones that are here, pick a boring one. I like this one because it looks like a digital clock, but it's kind of boring. Pick one of the boring ones like this. Take it. Grab the whole thing and copy it, just so that we still have it as like an archive. Bring it all the way down here. I have an archive of fonts that aren't being used anymore. Oof, but paste that with formatting. It's gonna look better if you paste it with formatting. Pop it down here so it still exists, and then just override it. Just go in and type over it. Say F this. I want this to look like this instead. I want this to be an I. And if you're gonna do that, how long is this video? If you're gonna do that, each of these boxes needs to be 3 characters long, and again, it needs to be monospaced characters. Can't use freaky characters that most characters that you have on your keyboard are going to be monospaced, but if you're copying and pasting symbols from like character list websites, most of those are not going to be monospaced unless they're ASCII art. Unless they're ASCII characters, which I have a little roster of ASCII characters down here to build fonts from. These are all monospaced, so use these however you see fit. These curves are great. Yeah, that's what I built all these fonts out of, mostly, pretty much just this stuff. But yeah, each of these has to be 3 monospaced characters long, and which, like in this case, I have a space, and a line. Those are the 3 characters, so the spaces are important. Yeah, 3 monospaced. And I implemented a thing to make it easier, so if you accidentally do have 4 characters, it'll show up in red or pink, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it makes it easy to make sure you're doing it right. If you have less than 3 characters, it does the same thing, obviously. And to make things easier, you know, you can be like, oh, this is actually the same as this, so pop it over here. I fucked up the 1 though. It's okay, it's the same as this one, so I can just do that. One little thing about this, you'll see on the left here, it says 1 spacing mode. Basically, if you make your 1 centered, like in this case, you have a space, a block, and then another space, block, space. That 1 is centered on the 3x3 grid, right? And then that means you put a 1 here in this. I can't keep pointing at the screen. Oh my god, it's 11 o'clock. I work tomorrow. Okay. You put a 1 here, and that just helps with kind of how the whole thing, it formats in a specific way. I don't really need to get into why that is. But yeah, if you center your 1, you put a 1 here. If you don't center your 1, like most of these, the 1s are justified to the right. You have a space, and then a character on all 3 rows. That makes sense, you know, it's all the way to the right of the 3x3 grid of characters. Then you put a 0. So, yeah, 0, 0. Yeah. That's how that works. And yeah, have fun with it. Make something like this. It's curvy, freaky. It's fun. This is probably the most fun I had with a font. The other ones are pretty straightforward. You know, you'll come to find that. Actually, if you want to replace a font, replace this one, because I don't really care about this one. Wait. I think somebody else might have made this one. That would be really mean. No, I don't think someone else made this one. No, I think Kels made this one. I'm so sorry, Kels. Did you make this one? It's beautiful. I don't think Kels made this one. Oh god. I'm really tired. Thanks for watching. I don't think anyone is watching at this point. But if you are, thank you. And good night. Oh. Yeah, okay. Goodbye. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.